Hey guys, what's going on? It's Spoot from Fort Misery Gaming, your favorite person who doesn't really know what he's doing most of the time, but we're doing it this time. So, this video is going to be a little bit different just because I am missing a number of the characters that I'm actually going to talk to you about today. So we're just going to go to the Gamia wiki. They're a pretty good resource for figuring out tier lists and stuff like that. So today we are going to talk about MR units in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Tactics Lite, Mobile, whatever you want to call it, the Alchemist Code 2.0. I hear you. So with the first banner almost over, we've gotten access to a couple of new MRs. I think, honestly, just one really notable one. But a lot of people will rant up and down about the URs. Obviously, they're the chase units. They're people you need to keep an eye out for. But there are a lot of characters that you may not know do good stuff. Like, there is a lot of utility in these lists. So we'll just kind of start off with the S's, and then I'll pick a couple that are particularly things you want to keep an eye out on. Mont Leonys, the main character in the game. Big old bad boy in a big furry coat. Look at that man. So his main job is Lord. Very few, if any, other characters in the game are going to start with that. I do not believe it is a sub-job that anybody else can get, although I could be wrong. Paladin is obviously more of the tanky part of it for a sub-job number 2, or, well, sub-job 1, which is the class that Engelbert also has, who also, they both share Knight. So Mont is an Earth unit. He is a UR to start. He's physical, slashing, and his AoE has kind of a cross effect, so pretty decent. Max stats, nothing crazy good. His master ability is okay. Defense 15, +1 jump. Defense is a stat in the game that is very sought after, which is why people recommend you go after Golem. There's not many things in the game outside of equipment and certain vision cards and espers that will even give you defense. So his master ability is significant. His stats are pretty good across the board. The jump 2 lets him get around a little better. You'll see that for the most part, his passives are really good. He increases attack, he's got some counterattack options, and then he gets a couple of killers, and so he's got Beast Killer Blade, which does extra damage to beasts, and Man-Eater, which deals extra damage to humans. Both of these are very good. He's got an anti-caster at a 6-star, Jammer Edge, which is real good. His first aid is okay. Stone, or Stone Throw, is the easiest way to get your chain element combos, especially if it's a requirement for a mission. Just take 2 Monts, throw rocks, you're done. His Paladin sub-abilities are, if you have Angle, you'll recognize a lot of these. If you don't, we'll go over them regardless. Blade Bash is a moderate damage with a stun. Crusader's Ward passively increases max HP and defense, not too bad. Saint Heal is a quick HP heal, it's not great. Sentinel gives you defense and spirit significantly, which is your magic defense stat, but it does significantly decrease your evasion, so usually you pop that right before you're about to take some hits. Paladin Guard, you have a chance to reduce the amount of damage taken. So overall, what you can do, also the Knight abilities are pretty good because Divine Heal is actually really good, and all of the breaks are usable. It doesn't necessarily mean that you want to use it as your sub-job, but it's pretty good. So Mont overall is a tank. The reason I am telling you to keep an eye out for him is because they throw his materials at you like candy. Like, by the time you get close to limit-breaking Medina, or Gilgamesh, or Engel, or Ayako, or Frederico, or anybody, you're already going to have this guy pretty much maxed. Like, they drown you in materials for this guy. So keep an eye on him. If you don't have a serviceable tank, Mont is very good. Rui Ryu, the Dark Ninja Gunner, big old penis hole from the story mode, who's got a bit of a history with Shadow Lynx, who is second best waifu. First best waifu was on the screen. Big old Rama. Got a good Trustmaster reward. He's got a gun. Equipment for Trustmasters tend to be very good, so keep an eye on them in general. His master ability is also pretty good. His crit damage and dex goes up 15%, and then he gets +1 to his range. It makes him very damaging. He doesn't have a whole lot of HP at max level. He is going to get the crap punched out of him if you put him in the game. The upside is he hits things from forever away. Like Curry, like Frederica, the higher they are, the better the range they have. Guns have a little less than bows, but they are still very, very good. Gunner abilities tend to be very strong utility. So you have leg shot, you have arm shot, you have vitals. So these disable... they have disable, mobilize, blind for blackout. You've got take aim, which increases your shooting, attack, and range. Advice increases your critical rate for you and anybody around. He has a chance to counterattack if damage is taken, which he shouldn't really be doing, but, you know, I get it. Sometimes he's going to get cracked. His first sub-job is the reason you kind of pay attention to him. He's got Thief. So you can decrease accuracy on people, you can increase your evasion, quick action is pretty good, AP gain is very, very strong, and then you have these. Oh boy, Steal Time. So it has CT for the target, increases own speed for 3 turns. So their regular CT gain, how they take their turns, their charge time, is halved. So if they are at 50, they go to 25. And it increases his own speed, which is his charge speed and his general agility, is increased. This is an insane ability for high-end raids, for boss fights, anything that you're really having a problem with, because essentially it is, if you get it off enough times, it just stops a unit from being able to effectively do anything. His red job abilities are okay. They're a little more utility, like Asuna, Sleep is fine. They're not crazy good. Jammer Thrust is an interesting ability. He gets Cura. Like, if you need a gunner that's got some utility spells, it's not the worst bag in the game to have, but he's not particularly amazing at it. Y'shtola, I don't really think we need to go over too much other than she's got some CT manipulation. She's one of the best fire mages in the game for a very long time. Trustmaster Reward is also a staff, very good. Max TP 15%, AP gain 30% for Master ability, which means she is going to be able to do her higher end abilities more often. Max stats, 1000 HP for a mage. She's squishy, don't get hit. You've got a couple things on her Witch, which is her main job. Ethereal Manipulation is an AoE CT increase. It's very strong. She also has Sharpcast and Enochian for a passive. Sharpcast increases her magic for 3 turns, which is very good. She also has Scion, Sphera, she has Xenoglossy. There are some abilities she has that are very strong. She also can double into White Mage. So you get Regenerate Holy, which doesn't miss, in case anybody was curious, right there. Sure hit means it doesn't miss. It has 100% accuracy. It doesn't matter if you're blind. The only way you can stop it is if you get nailed, muted during it, or if somebody murders you. She also gets some higher end cures, Cura, Curaga, Protect, which is pretty good. It gets Raise. It's a chance to revive, so it's not a guarantee. Not too bad overall for a witch. Her green mage stuff is also pretty good. Ruin tends to be a very strong ability in the beginning. You also get debuffs with the green mage kit. So you get Deprotect, Dispel, D-Shell. You get Barfire, which increases resistance. You get Speed Up, which increases your general speed, which is very strong. Y'shtola is a character that you can easily service, especially during the event, and when it comes back around the next time. Ramada, very good for a spear unit. Also Bay, and she gets her Christmas unit later on. You may not necessarily need to pull on her, but she's still good. Her max TP goes up 30%, and her piercing attack goes up by 20, which is applicable only to spears and bows, I believe. I could be wrong on that, because I think piercing just applies one unit to the other, but bows may actually do piercing damage. I would have to double check on it. Trustmaster's Lance of Astrology. Like I said, all Trustmaster equipment is going to be better than pretty much anything you can get. You get Trustmaster equipment by max limit breaking and max awakening them. So essentially you have them at 99, ready to go, ready to pound. Her stats are pretty decent. She's got a little bit of defense on her. Her HP is almost 2k, so she's high even for a non-tank. Her abilities tend to be not quite Dragoony, but she is built for high attack, high critical rate. Lancer is... essentially, you run up to something, you do a little bit of AoE with like her high-end spells, or you just run through 2 enemies on a high crit. Spellblade gives her a little more utility, a little more elemental variability. Bioblade lets you do poison damage. Magic Resist lets you do take less magic damage. Water Blade, stuff like that. Attract Spell is actually a really interesting ability. Essentially, it's a magic provoke. So you cast it on somebody, and if they're a mage, they're like, F you, and they cast spells at Rama, who is has a chance to reduce magic damage taken. So she's pretty good. She also has Thief as a subtype, so she gets Mug, she gets Steel Eyesight, she gets Thieves' Way, which gives you more speed and move, which is very strong. I believe speed is... I'll have to double check it, but I believe it's agility. Yeah, looks like it. So that sort of determines who goes first, who goes second, etc. Mug and Steal Time on Thieves are very, very strong. These are always abilities to take kind of take advantage of. Mug lets you steal items, so if you're farming on not auto, and even sometimes on auto they'll actually cast it, it sort of just, you run up to a dude, punch him, and you take his stuff, which, you know, you mug him. You give him some coffee, and then you take the coffee back. So anybody with a Thief subtype tends to be a little strong. Other notable characters that I'll just brush over. Grace is a very serviceable healer. She has White Mage, Green Mage, and Lancer. So her White Mage and Green Mage essentially is a heal, debuff utility character. Mont Leonys, Big Ol' Mommy, is Green Mage, Time Mage, White Mage. Time Mages, do not underestimate them. There are two of them between the MR and I believe the SR one. You get tons of great spells. Float lets you get around traps. CT debuff immunity. You are completely immune to slow, stop, haste, quick. So if you just don't want to get messed by it, it's great. Haste. It increases your CT gauge for 3 turns. Position swap. You literally teleport somewhere and they come to where you are. Slow is one of the most broken abilities in the game. They stop moving. Well, not stop, but they get as close to not moving as quickly as humanly possible. Their CT gauge gets dumped. The White Mage, Time Mage combination, the Green Mage, Time Mage combination in her particular set, very strong. You get a lot of really powerful abilities in this kit. Oe. You have Meditate at level 1, which increases Brave for himself and people around him. This lets you actually get Brave and keep it during a fight. I believe you keep, I think it's 25% of whatever the number of is. So if you Brave up, if you Meditate for 4, everybody keeps 1 post-battle as long as, you know, you don't get murdered. It's one of the only 2 characters in the game right now that gets it. He also has an Elemental Sword. Oh no, not Duel Links! He also has the Lightning Sword, which is very, very strong. He has naturally built-in evasion, and he has 20% attack on a master ability. He is very serviceable if you have not pulled somebody like Stern, or if you're trying to save for Orlando and you don't want to go crazy on the UR banners. He is very good to use. He has a very strong setup. Ninja Samurai is very good. Warrior Samurai, very good. All 3 of his jobs are very, very good, and they have a lot of crossover. Another one to keep out that's kind of cute, Marilu. She's a monk. She takes a crap ton of damage between her monk and knight classes. You wouldn't really think that, but she do. She also has a little bit of crit damage ability between her mastery and some of her passive abilities. Monks tend to be more utility attackers. They have a couple of spells that are debilitating that are fist attacks. Shadow Links just came out. You've got Dragoon, Samurai, and Ninja. All 3 of these abilities are very strong. Ninjas tend to be very good. Their attack percentage is not insane. She, personally, her master gets a 25% attack and a 15% evade up. So she's going to be able to get in there and really just start railing on somebody. Her reaction and her support abilities. You get Move plus Jump 1 on Shikuchi. Crazy good. Anything that ups your mobility in this game is worth its weight in gold, and she is great at it. There's not really a whole lot else to say about Dragoon. Everybody knows how it works. You leap at people, it's fine. Samurai is kind of the same thing as Oe. She gets meditation as well. Third Eye and Night Veil are also very strong. The other character that I would desperately want you guys to pay attention to is our girl Fina from Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Ye old crystal gal herself. A bow user. She gets Reincarnation as her Trust Mastery. She gets 15% Dex and Resistant to Magic Attack, 25 as a Master ability. She's kind of mediocre across the board. If you need a ranged attacker, she's okay. She is not as good as Rui Ryu. She is not as good as Curry, but she is still pretty good. She has the White Mage of Lapis as a special job, as her number 1. She gets Cheer. It increases faith, it increases magic, it increases attack, and you get protect. Again, this is one of those only ways to increase faith in the game currently without going through other means. You keep 25% of the number. If you heal 4 faith, you keep 1 of them. So if you want to farm it out on a couple of characters, you can run them through a map, chase an enemy around until they're debilitated, and then just cheer 500 times. This is a trick that worked in Final Fantasy Tactics as well. There are a bunch of amazing... She also secondarily gets Gunner, which not always something you want to do versus her White Mage of Lapis, just because Lapis is very good. But she also gets Cleric, like Mashiri, which is very usable abilities that aren't on White Mage. The only other character that you might want to keep an eye out for is Curry Wazette. He is also a very strong archer. His master ability, you get 15% HP, 30% AP gain, and you start at 10 AP, which means your ability to do your weapon attacks and your abilities are significantly higher just because you start kind of like Medina, a little higher up the totem pole. His ranger abilities are very good. He can do poison arrows, he can rapid fire. He tends to be able to attack things from a big range. He can also do some Green Mage sub-abilities, so you get some utility, or you can put some Dragoon on him if you really just want the dude to get out of there. Like, if you're like, hey, you, get up on the rocks. The higher he is, the further away he can attack. So keep that in mind in raids and in events. That's pretty much it for our current lineup of MRs. All of these units are usable. Like, don't think that you have to chase URs. Yes, they are going to be better across the board with stats. Yes, overall, they are going to be more expensive as units. But MRs are the best of both worlds. A lot of these are going to serve as very good replacements until you get a UR that's better than them. And they are going to be significantly cheaper to upgrade. Yeah, the shards are kind of a bummer, but they tend to be easier to get a hand on. Like, I haven't even gone into Ramada's... I've got her at 45, I think, so I've got her master ability, and I've got shards sitting. Like, I've leveled her up twice on her limit break, and I'm still sitting on 80 shards. Like, it's very easy to get these guys moving. You have to put a little bit of time into them, so don't do them first, obviously, unless you really need a tank like Mont, if you really need a gunner like Rui Ryu, or if you didn't pull Medina. Y'shtola is a good substitute. And you want to have multiple units of the same elements. Like, you want Rui Ryu on a dark team. You want Mont on an earth team. You want Y'shtola on a fire team. Like, there are going to be elemental-based raids that you need to keep up with. So keep an eye on these. These are great units. Keep up with us. We've got a whole lot going on. We are trying to stream this 2 or 3 times a week to get not only our guild runs in, but we're doing stuff with, like, Zenrado and Stouthelm. We got that one guy, Jake. Me and Scuba are keeping as busy as humanly possible to bring this stuff to you. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Like and subscribe if you like the content. If you want to see us do a specific video, give us a yell. I have a JP guide kind of coming out, not Japan, job point. And I'm also working on a vision card guide because I've got a couple of the high-end ones and I sort of want to go over them with you. So please stay patient with us. We love you. Keep doing it. Get your pulls in. Don't waste all your Lapis, or what do they call it on this one? Visior? Don't waste all your Visior. You're going to need it. We got Final Fantasy Tactics and Warrior of the Light coming out at some point in the future, and Warrior of the Light's wild! And don't get miserable. Please don't get miserable.